First, I want to thank Reverend Kiyama for actually giving me the opportunity to come to talk to you guys. I'm watching you. All right, so anyway, before I talk about what I wanted to talk about, I want to give you a little past history, because it won't make sense if I don't. First off, I'm not really the biggest church guy in the world. In fact, when I only started going within the last few years, before that I thought if I show up at church, a big bolt of lightning was going to come hit me and set me on fire. It's like, sinner, you don't belong here. I'm like, oh, my bad, right? Let's leave. And so my friend from high school kept nagging me on and on and on, you know, come with me. I'm like, okay, sure. Then I slept in. Oh, I had football. Oh, then I slept in again. I just made up every excuse not to go, and then she finally decided to get smart. She's like, hey, let's go Saturday night. I'm like, crap. All right, couldn't think of an excuse, so I was like, all right, I'll go. So we went, and the whole time I'm all defensive and sitting back and trying not to like get mad at this guy. He's gonna say I'm a sinner, I shouldn't be here, I'm gonna go to hell. I'm like, okay, and then he started and he said, 10 things to make you a better person. And I started listening. I was like, that better person? Not better Christian, not better Catholic, just a better person in general. And he went on and he said stuff like, hey, you know, don't kill your neighbor. I was like, oh, I can do that. Right? Don't steal. Well, I can do that too. That's pretty easy. And then he went on, and at the end of it, he said, church is not what a lot of people think. He said it wasn't a sanctuary of saints. And what he meant by that is like, not everybody who goes to church is supposed to be good. In fact, the Reverend himself said he was full of sin, that he had problems. And then he said church is more like a hospital for sinners. I was like, oh, where's the ER, dude? That's me, right? I can go into the ER for this. So ever since then, I started going to church. And I just wanted to hear what they had to say. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because it links into a couple weeks ago what Kumu said when we had the gifts. The gifts thing, actually, I really liked a lot. I enjoyed the message. I liked how he brought up all the students and talked about what they did. The very next day, I had a student come into my classroom and say, hey, Mr. V, why'd you become a teacher? And I went, blah, 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 you know, same answer. Biology's the best, science #1, yada, 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 right? Because I really so used to saying it for over the years that I really kind of forgot. That following Wednesday, that same person dragged me out to church, took me out. And she said, okay, let's go to church on Wednesday. I was like, sure, I could put down my video game and Xbox and go out, all right? So we went, and the message that day, ironically, was gifts again. I was like, oh, 2 for 2 here. What's going on? And so the message was about this father who had a son born with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a muscle disorder. So basically, you're paralyzed everywhere. You can't move. And the doctors actually said to his father, hey, you know, your son's going to be a vegetable for the rest of his life. Father didn't believe it. So the father just basically taught his son, played with him, did everything with him like he was normal. At the age of 12, the father went to the local university and asked him, hey, can you help me make a machine to help my son talk? And so they made this machine where he put it on the side of his head and pushes buttons, and he can write out words. And the first thing he ever said was, go Bruins, because the day before they just watched a football game when UCLA won. He didn't know that 1, his son was intelligent, and 2, that he was a sports fan. So ever since then, that father decided to take his son and go running. He entered his first race, 5-mile race. And when they got home, the son said, Dad, this is the first time I ever felt alive that I've never felt handicapped before. Ever since then, at the age of 65, he ran his first Ironman with his son. The Ironman is a 2.5-mile swim, 115-mile bike ride, a 25.2-mile run, back to back. He did that while pulling his son, carrying his son, and pushing his son across the finish line. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you that video and then tell you why I actually became a teacher. So. I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, wonder where my heart feels. Will I dare
dance for you, Jesus. For in all of you be still while I stand in your presence. To my knees will I fall, will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes, when I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine. Only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, wonder will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, surrounded by your glory, wonder will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine.
So, after I went to service that day and I saw that, I finally understood why I became a teacher. My pastor once told me, he said, when you die, on your tombstone, there's only two things on it. Your name, of course, and the year you lived, right? And the only thing in between there is, in between your birthday and the day you died, is a dash. The only thing that makes you you is that dash. How do you fill that dash? I realized I became a teacher because every student who has taken my class has filled my dash. That is why I come to school every day. That is why I'm always so excited, if you haven't noticed, right? Even at prom, watching, prom and a ball, watching you guys dance. I was laughing, and I went around with the balloons and messed around with people dancing, but overall, you guys are my dash, right? The only question I have for you is, how are you going to fill your dash? How is your high school, seniors, 2006 to 2010, 4 years? How did you fill your dash? Did you play that sport you always wanted to do? Did you go out and join that club you always said you would, but you were too lazy to go? Right? How do you fill your high school dash? And then seniors, after you leave, how are you going to fill the next chapter, your next dash, your college, when the real life begins? I know every day I fill my dash with you guys, and so I know I give everything I got every day to every student. So when they're done, they can fill my dash when I'm done. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.